Hey, how you going? Mind the cable. Are you having a great day today? Me? I'm doing pretty well because I just bought myself the brand new Launchpad X. Look at that. Now, yes, I know they're about 5 years old, but I really wanted to get one because I knew that sometime in the future I was going to have to upgrade from the older Mark IIs, which I've got a bunch of these for backup, and I've had to get newer ones because of certain reasons, and I'll explain why in the video. But yeah, I got a brand new Mark II. If you want a comparison, I've got the Mark I here. This is the very old Mark I, which I stole from Jahari. Don't tell him. But yes, both the Mark II and Mark III are pretty nifty devices. But the main problem I have with the Mark II is mainly the cable on the back here. This old USB-D cable, that nice big thick cable, gets loose sometimes, and when it does get loose or wiggles out a little bit, you gotta replug the thing back in. You plug it back in, and my computer didn't crash this time, so that's a fucking win. But yeah, you just got to plug it back in and you can use it again, which, as you heard me say, my computer crashed last time I did this video, and that sucked because the whole performance, you know, if it gets loose and something happens, your computer crashes, well, that sucks. With the Mark III or the Launchpad X, that's a nice snug USB-C cable. I was actually scared of pulling that out because it was nice and tight in there. I just pulled it out from the laptop, you know, like that's nice and tight. Thank you very much for doing that, Launchpad or Novation, or the people who created the Launchpad X, because that's the main reason why I got one of these. Because I want to run around on stage with one. I want to run around like a musician or guitarist and go, you know, and that's the good thing. There's a lot of good things you could do with the Launchpad X and the newer Launchpads. They have all these new features that you can use. I just have to learn them all. But the main thing I wanted to do with the Launchpad X, and I know it's a pipe dream, is that I wanted to set it up exactly like I've got it set up on the Launchpad Mark II with the custom MIDI mapping areas, and that has to do with user 1 and user 2 on the Launchpad Mark II. But on the Mark III, on the Launchpad X, those are actually hidden over here in the custom mapping area, and you actually have 8 different areas to have custom MIDI mappings, etc. But they don't work the exact way they do on the Launchpad Mark II. So yeah, I'll show you how they work on the Mark II straight away. Hopefully my computer doesn't crash when I do this. So when you first get one of these Launchpad Mark IIs, if you ever do get one of them, if you get one secondhand, or maybe you do have one and you don't know this setting, when you first turn it on, thank fuck it didn't crash. When you first turn it on, hold down these 4 buttons and plug it back in. When you plug that back in, you're greeted to this little settings screen. And here, you want to right now we want to focus on these two rows here, the third and the fourth row. These 2 rows correspond to the user 1 and user 2 modes. The third, user 1, the fourth, user 2. All these red ones here are MIDI channels that you can't use because Ableton and Launchpad use all those channels. It's a beefy device that uses a lot of fucking MIDI channels. But these blue ones here, you can custom map to different channels that this Launchpad can think with Ableton. And I can show you, I'll show you that pretty soon. But right now, I'll show you what you can do on this on the device itself. So here, we have the MIDI channels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, 7, and 8 on the user 1 mode, and on the user 2 you can set 14, 15, or 16 to user 2. I explained that pretty badly, so I explain it again. So on the first user mode, you can set channel 6, 7, and 8, or on the user 2 mode, you can set it to channel 14, 15, and 16, which allows you to have, you know, maybe you want 3 different Launchpads set up, and they can all do their own specific things in the user modes. Or maybe like when I DJ, right, I have 2 Launchpads set up. I have one set up here and another one set up here. Both Launchpads use user mode 14 because that does a drum roll, when I show you that in the future. But on Launchpad 1, it's selected to channel 6, as it will say there. And that channel is for the drum pad I've got going on. On this channel here, on channel 7, that's set to a piano roll, a piano that I've got set up. And if I exit out of there and go back into Ableton and wait for it to load back up, wham bam, we're back into Ableton. Awesome. So that's how the user modes are set up on the Launchpad Mk2. On the Launchpad X, it's a lot more different. You actually have this extra program that you can use in your browser, or you can download the program like I did, and you can actually custom map all these areas to do different things. If you really wanted to, you could actually have this first row here talk to just channel 1. The second row, talk to just channel 2 if you wanted to. You can do that if you really wanted to, but it might get a bit complicated. But what I tried doing on this first one here, on this first channel here, was setting it up exactly like I've got it set up on this channel here. So this first channel here is that's channel 6. This second one here, this is channel 7. So this one here would be exactly like this one here. But as you can see, it's not picking up any MIDI. It actually sends to the right channel, which I'll show you pretty quickly right now. So if I actually play something on this, and I've got it selected here. If I play something, ready, listen to this. You know, it's playing the note. It's playing notes, right? If I just play that, yep. If I press the same button on this one right now, that's the same button there. It's playing it, but it's not actually doing the light show that I actually want it to do, because that's sending to a specific channel. If I get both launch pads up here and press the button, watch the Mk2. You ready? It's playing the light show because it's sending to the channel that this launch pad is picking up, which you can't do with this launch pad. In fact, I don't even know why that light there is on. Why does that come up? I need to figure out what's going on with the MIDI channels. But let's just bring open Ableton. So whoop, 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 whoop. So this is my Ableton setup here. This is my DJ setup. Over here, this here, that's number 7. Yep, this is the launch pad that we got set up. This one over here is for the second launch pad, which we have set up, but it's not plugged in right now. But this one over here is sending, as you can see here, to channel 7. If I actually was to change that channel 7 to channel 1, watch what would happen. Once it replays to, oh wait a second, I need to set what launchpad it's going to. If I change it to the Launchpad X, it will, in about a couple of seconds, there we go. It's now set to channel 1, which shows all the lights showing up exactly how I'd want it to show up on this Launchpad. However, if I set it to any other channel but 1, say if I set it to channel 7, it's not going to do what I want it to do for some reason. And this light, I don't know what's going on, where that MIDI signal is coming from, but it's activating something. Maybe that is the cure to my dilemma, that this note here is picking up something from somewhere, but where is it picking it up from? Because nothing else is sending to this MIDI device. Hang on, let's have a look here. I've got it. I know I have it all set up so no MIDI gets sent to the wrong channels, etc. Nothing's sending to this, to the Launchpad X. Oh wait, no. I'm really confused why that button there is showing up. But yeah, that's the main problem I have with the Launchpad X, and that's because I can't set it up exactly like I set it up with the Launchpad Mk2, and I just reselected that so it shows me my cool little color sequence again. Because when I'm live, I want to like change this to a smiley face. Look at this. Look at me, I'm a smiley face, which I can do on the Launchpad X, but if I was to set this back to the Launchpad X up there, set this back to channel 1, if I was to do that, we got the smiley face there, look at that. If I was to change the custom mode to a different mode, let's just go down to this mode down here, the smiley face will appear. It's not appearing now. Okay. Yep, because yeah, because the MIDI maps are set up differently. This is the smiley face, but it's using a different MIDI configuration, and it only sends to channel 1 for some reason, and that's the main problem I'm having with it. So yeah, if you have a solution to that, that would be awesome. I would love to set this Launchpad up exactly like I've got this set up. I know that I can't, like, for example, on my user 2 mode, this is where I've got the drum rolls. So if I just play the drum stem, I've got that set up. You know, if I was to go, hang on, you know, loop it. But over here, these buttons over here turn the channel off, which I won't be able to do on this, which it sucks. It really sucks because I've had this set up for such a long time, and it just really sucks that I can't do it with this. Maybe with some custom code or something, I could set it up exactly how I got it with this. But yeah, I could understand the benefits of having the lights directly on the Launchpad, where if you go into the custom application that you get for the Launchpad X, the lights are set up on the Launchpad. So you're not sending anything from Ableton, it's all on the Launchpad, and I'll show you that very quickly. So what we'll do is we'll close down Ableton, right? And then we'll open up the program, which is called Novation Components. And this application is what you use to set up your Launchpad X. I'm just going to quickly change it over so you don't see any usernames or anything. Hopefully you don't see anything. Cool, you don't see anything private. Bring it back over to here. Let's select the Managed Launchpad X. As you can see, the Launchpad 2, you know, you can't do any custom stuff with that. I first need to log in. Of course, that's why we didn't see anything, any names or anything. But now that I'm actually logged in, we can see my custom MIDI maps I got set up. So as you can see, I was trying to set up the custom 6, 7, and 8, and 14, 15, and 16. But what I did is I set up this custom mapping here. If I load it, this here, you see this? That's exactly how it would have looked like on this Launchpad here. The only difference is that these lights are on the Launchpad. They're rendered on the Launchpad itself. There's no communication between the Launchpad and the computer when it comes to the buttons being pressed, which is really good. It's actually putting less strain on the cable network that you have set up. Or, you know, in the future, when I have a wireless Launchpad running around with a Raspberry Pi, that's less messages being sent through the network, which is good. But for some reason, this didn't actually send to the Launchpad X. So what I'm going to do, that's because it's set to channel 6. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you set your channels up. So what you do is you just select all of these, wham bam, like that. What this program actually has, it actually has these factory custom mode 3 and 4. That's the user 1 and user 2 mode that you would have had on the old Launchpad Mk2. But I basically use that and put the custom colors on there. And I'm going to set this to channel 7. We're going to user mode channel 7, put a little S there to say it's different, and hit save. So once we hit save, we then send it to the Launchpad X, send it to channel 1, and now that custom mapping should be on this Launchpad, but we won't actually see it until we hit custom, go to there, and it's not showing up for some reason. Let's just send it again, override custom mode. Maybe I need to reconnect it. So what we're going to do is we're going to close this. We're going to unplug. Look how tight this is. Oh, bam. And then plug it back in. Now, hopefully, once we've rebooted it, hit custom, a light should show up, which they're not. Why aren't the lights showing up? Why aren't my fancy lights show up? The fancy lights show up for these things, you know, these fancy little pads and volume sliders and stuff, and the MIDI notes and that button down there, but they're not showing up for this. I actually thought that would work. Oh, I've now run into another problem with the Launchpad X, and I actually thought this was going to be a solution to my problem. I can't really do it with the roll on the user 2 mode, but I actually thought this would have saved me because these lights should just work, right? But okay, you know what's going on? I think I know what's going on. Let's just set this to channel 1 and see what happens, right? Hit save. We'll save it. Cool. Send to the Launchpad X on channel 1. Okay, you ready? Nope. Okay, I'm not getting any lights. Let's just set it to global channel. Send to Launchpad X. Override custom mode. Let's just save it again. Send to Launchpad X custom 1, and these should light up, right? They're set to a color, and they should just light up. So I don't see anything else that I should be doing here. Get out of that. Do I have to be in Ableton for it to work? It's not showing up. Okay, let's just open up a project that a temporary project, not the whole DJ project. Let's go into this one here once it loads for me. Okay, we're in it. We're not going to activate any of this stuff here. We're just going to stop it. And we'll go custom 1. Okay, I should actually set this over here to go all channels. So if I press, yep, it's playing a note. But there's no colors. Why are there no colors? Fuck. Oh, there are no colors. You know, there's colors for these things. You know, if I was to, you know, look, it's lighting up. Hang on. Let me show you more. That's lighting up. You know, in the notes section, that lights up. But in the custom modes, they don't work like they do on the Mk2. I'm so annoyed. I'm really annoyed because the 2 main functions I want to use on this. Yeah. Hopefully this video gives you a good in-depth live reaction to the Launchpad X and my problems I'm having with it right now, because I really wish I could have just gone plug it in, and all I had to do was set the MIDI channels and I was good to go. But it's not like that. It's different, and maybe someone out there might have some custom code for me. And if you do have custom code for me, please let me know, because I've Googled, I haven't been able to find solutions, but I really, really want this to work like the old Launchpad. Or I'm going to have to make do and redo my entire DJ setup. You know, it'll be fine with the K2, but with the Launchpad, it's going to have to be set up completely differently. Or maybe I just use this as my run around on stage piano. But what I really wished I could have done with this was have the user 1 area set up with the lights exactly how I got set up on the Mk2, because my brain is now programmed to play music using the weird setup that this has. So if I was to press play on this, set this to channel 1. Yep, there we go. My brain is set up how this is set up, which it's set up by, if I try to clearly explain it to you, the first octave starts down here, and it goes up, and then it starts again over here. It's a bit weird, so if you were to play from one side to the other, it's a bit weird. But I know that if I was to play something using the Launchpad, I can go, okay, when Snake sings. That's actually very sensitive. Like, okay, it was acting up a bit there. I was surprised that I was pressing buttons I wasn't pressing, but yeah. If someone can help me, it'll be awesome. If you want to see me working this out, please like and subscribe. If not, have fun and work on your own projects. Do that right now. Work on something right now. Learn something. Do it. Get off YouTube.